European Leadership Network. He's joining us from Belfast. So you've had a chance to look over some of these names. The main one that everyone was focused on was the finance minister, Mehmet Şimşek, because I suppose it's the very great economic domestic challenges that are facing the country that are really going to come into focus now. What is interesting about Şimşek is that he left the government a few years ago, I think in 2018. This was when Erdogan appointed his son-in-law as finance minister. And there was it seemed as though there was a lot of internal bickering at that time. How might he have been persuaded to come back?
Yeah, I think Mehmet Şimşek is not the sort of person who will simply accept a job back in the government if he didn't believe he could pursue policies that were necessary to pursue. So that's why his appointment has been rumored for weeks now, because there was a clear build-up as a message both to voters, but even within the party and to the market as well, too, that actually this might be the moment where Erdogan is slowly, gradually returning back to a more orthodox economic policy, and Şimşek represents that. But to what extent he will be able to have a free rein over, and what will happen to the central bank, and I think we will wait to see. But this is a positive sign for what is worth at this stage.
The delay in that central bank appointment, I suppose the President would have been well aware that all eyes, particularly the markets, are on that. And it seems as though the message that we've had from today's cabinet is to try and calm foreign investors, or to at least encourage them to really look at Turkey, because Erdogan is on his fourth central bank governor since Şimşek's departure. So how important an appointment is that?
Well, I mean, if the role of the central bank and its governor is to return to what it has always been, which is more independent, aside from the government policies, then it would be a really welcome move. And the possible candidate that has been raised publicly at this moment is somebody who's received a PhD from Princeton, but also has an investment background abroad as well in the United States. So these are very positive signals. We will wait to see. Obviously, appointments are one thing, and the other thing is whether President Erdogan is actually going to give them. But what is really interesting about all these appointments is when you take all of them together, from foreign minister to defense minister to even interior minister, these are all the doers that Erdogan can count on to keep quiet and deliver things rather than enter into polemics or cause any political mischief, if you like. I think the message from all of these for the next 10 months, and if not for the next few years, is going to be that Erdogan is focusing on strengthening again his political position, addressing some of the concerns that almost cost him this election, and pursue his vision for this new century of the republic. And he's giving all these key portfolios to people that he trusts to deliver.
What role can we expect Turkey to play then internationally? How important is foreign policy as part of that Turkish century, as Erdogan has described it? We seem to see Turkey gaining more influence, not just in the Middle East and Africa, but also, there's always been influence in terms of the migration crisis, and also playing a role in mediating Russia's war with Ukraine.
Yeah, I think we often underestimate the role of regional and medium powers in this age of kind of global competition and superpowers, US and China and etc. They do play a big part in shaping the way things are. And I think Turkey has read that global context and pursued policies and capabilities and adjustments to be an assertive player in its region. I don't think Erdogan will shy away from using force when it's necessary, like in Syria and Iraq, taking political stands or diplomatic stands, but he needs to do this within a framework of balancing economic and investments. Like you've seen him normalizing relations with Saudi Arabia, with UAE, even with Egypt, which has been very difficult for him to do so after the Arab Spring. And they're doing it primarily because of both the geopolitical context that cornered them, but also economic needs as well, too. So it does signal that what you are seeing is a pragmatic phase ahead of us that doesn't take away huge strategic divergences between Turkey and US, or Turkey and Europe, and key European countries like France and etc. And a lot of issues that are waiting to be addressed. That doesn't take away any of that, but perhaps we might enjoy a window of opening to find some compromises and move on key portfolios like Sweden's entry into NATO by this summer.
OK, thank you, Ziya Meral in Belfast, for joining us.